Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video I am going to be giving you an update on some more transfer news, keeping you up to date of what players are linked with Manchester United. Now, I've just been reading recent reports and it does say there is around 14 players on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's agenda. But the question is, who will Manchester United sign when the transfer window does reopen? Now, obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has revealed his transfer strategy. Don't forget, he still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young players to Manchester United. Now, I think, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has revealed that he wants to make around 4 signings when the transfer window does reopen, because I think Solskjaer believes that Man United need around 4 signings to become title contenders next season, and of course we've got to get the right calibre players in. Of course, he's also identified the areas where he thinks Manchester United need to strengthen up. He agreed this with Mike Phelan back in September. He said Solskjaer, he made it clear he wants to recommend a centre forward in, he wants to recommend the right winger in. We're also in search for a midfielder. And of course, he does want to bring a centre half in. So there's still deficiencies in the squad that do need to be addressed. Now, obviously, we liked what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer recently said, because he insisted, we will exploit the transfer market, soon as the transfer market reopens. Because obviously, we are going to get back to normality, eventually. And Solskjaer is aware that a lot of teams are under financial pressure across the world due to the coronavirus pandemic. So obviously, clubs are going to have to offload some of their players, to generate funds and that. But I just want to confirm as well with you guys that the football is going to resume on the 6th of June. So it is around 6 weeks away now. And, games will be played behind closed doors. So I did know anyway, that the season was going to resume because it was extended indefinitely. So yeah, so I'm going to be talking with you now a bit about Jack Grealish. There's some more additional information that's updated about him. So according to the media, quite a few media outlets, they're basically saying that our preference is Jack Grealish over James Maddison. Now, I think, there's quite a few reasons, why we prefer Jack Grealish over James Maddison. I think one of the reasons is because Jack Grealish is a cheaper solution. Because I think Jack Grealish is expected to cost us around 60 or 70 million pounds. Even if Philly, were to get relegated, maybe it'd still cost us around 60 or 70 million pounds. Because I did say before, didn't I, if Philly were to get relegated, then maybe, won't have to pay as much as 70 million pounds for the player. James Maddison, I think he'd cost us maybe around 100 million pounds. I think that's, what Leicester said, they wanted for the player. So that's one of the reasons, why we prefer Jack Grealish, because he's a cheaper solution. You've probably got to say he's been in better form than James Maddison, so that's another reason. And I think, Jack Grealish is more versatile. Jack Grealish is predominantly an attacking midfielder, but you can occasionally play him as a winner. But, he is our number one priority target for, the summer transfer window is Jack Grealish. There was reports saying, was it last week, that, maybe his move to Manchester United hinges on the sale of Paul Pogba. But, you obviously, had... You had Andy Gray coming out the other week, saying that Manchester United should sign him. There's quite a few, pundits and people in general, that have instructed us, to sign Jack Grealish. Now, Jack Grealish has remained loyal to Aston Villa for several years. He's spent the vast majority of his career with Aston Villa. He's been a Villa player since the age of 6. He's been in their senior squad since 2014. And since then, he's become an integral part of Aston Villa's team. I think, he was key to Villa getting to the Carabao Cup final this season. He was also key for Villa, getting promotion to the Premier League. And I think he's flourished under Dean Smith's guidance. Grealish has got around 3 years remaining on his contract with Villa. He's under contract with them until 2023. And I don't think there is a buyout clause inserted. Now, Darren Bent also gave his overarching view on the speculation regarding Grealish. And Darren Bent believes he'll either join Manchester United, Tottenham or Manchester City. But he does believe, that Jack Grealish will leave Aston Villa. And he is only at the age of 24. But revert back to the summer of 2018. I think it said that Tottenham came really, really close to getting him for around £25 million. But I think he'd go very, very well alongside the likes of Bruno Fernandes in our midfield, because Solsjaker is looking for someone to go alongside Bruno Fernandes. And, do you think, Jack Grealish is the actual adequate replacement for Paul Pogba? So that's the latest news on him. James Maddison, I think I mentioned James Maddison to you guys on one of my videos that I did recently. I do like James Maddison as well, don't get me wrong, I do like him a lot. James Maddison is now into his second season with Leicester. And I think he's done very, very well. He's replicating what he did in his first season with Leicester, because don't forget, James Maddison created more chances than any other player in the Premier League last season. But, it's going to be hard anyway, to convince Leicester to offload him. Leicester want to do everything they can to convince him to stay, because Leicester know how much of an imperative player he is. There was reports quite a few weeks ago now saying, that Leicester have been in talks over extending his contract. Brendan Rodgers gave his overarching view on, the speculation regarding Maddison, and he insists that James Maddison is happy with Leicester. James Maddison has got around 3 years remaining on his current contract with Leicester. But if he signs a new contract, then obviously his wages will increase. Leicester did pay around £20 million to him from Norwich in the summer of 2018. And he enjoyed a good couple of years in the Championship with Norwich. He also had a loan spell in Scotland with Aberdeen, and he actually began his career with Coventry. And James Maddison is predominantly an attacking midfielder, and he is only at the age of 23. And Leicester, like I said, they've lost quite a few of their imperative players in recent years. Don't forget, they lost Harry Maguire to us last summer. So we've done business with Leicester there. We paid £80 million for Harry Maguire, most expensive centre-half in the world and the second most expensive signing at the club. Obviously, they lost Raheem Mahrez to Man City in the summer of 2018. They also lost N'Golo Kante, Danny Drinkwater to Chelsea. So they did, generate quite a lot of money, for their departures. I think last summer Leicester did recruit quite a few players in. They got Dennis Pryor. I think they got Yori Tillemans, who was one of their most expensive signings. They also got James Justin, didn't they, from Luton. So I think they made around, 4 or 5 signings last summer. But I do probably believe, that James Maddison will remain loyal to Leicester, because there's no explanation, at this moment in time why I'd want to leave Leicester, because to be fair, Leicester have enjoyed a really, really good season. And I think they're sitting, second or third in the Premier League. Don't forget, back in 2016, they won the Premier League under Claudio Ranieri. But, So, it's a lot more imminent, that we're going to get Jack Grealish over James Maddison. If we were to get both of them, which I'm, very, very sceptical about, but if we were to get both of them, both players would cost us around £170 million. But I think we've got a great, great chance anyway of getting Jack Grealish on the board. I think as well, it's looking very, very imminent that Manchester United are going to sign Jadon Sancho when the transfer window does reopen. It's looking imminent. I'm not going to fully assure that we're going to sign him, because you can't take anything for granted in that. But obviously, we've been relentlessly linked with Jadon Sancho. Dortmund have already quoted out what they want for the player, and they've said they want at least £100 million for him. Probably we'd have to end up paying £120 million. Even with this coronavirus pandemic, it's obviously not convincing Dortmund to lower their asking price. They do remain ruthless over their valuation, and I think we're the only club that are willing to meet Borussia Dortmund's asking price. Now, obviously, you had Paul Merson coming out recently doubting Jadon Sancho's move to Manchester United. But I think Jadon Sancho is set to choose between either Manchester United or Real Madrid. And I think, Sancho coming back to the Premier League, it'd be, very, very beneficial for his career. He's obviously, played in Manchester in the past. He enjoyed 2 years with Man City, but never really got assured any first-team opportunities at Man City. That's the main explanation why I left City to join Borussia Dortmund. But Borussia Dortmund selling him when the transfer window reopens, they're going to make a huge profit on the player anyway, because they only paid £7 or £8 million to him from Man City. But reflecting on his good performances in the few years he's been with Dortmund, his valuation has persistently grown. But Jadon Sancho's already confirmed that he does want to leave Borussia Dortmund. And also too, on Sunday evening, he did a live session on Instagram. That fueled a bit of speculation up, but that doesn't assure that he's going to come to Man United. There was some Man United fans watching it, and someone dared, I think someone told him to sip water, if he's joining the Man United, and I think that's what he did, but that doesn't, really mean nothing. There's a few numbers, we could give him. There's a few options, but I think, we'll probably give him the number 7. Because, we've got number 7 vacant. And like I said, we've had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations. Chelsea have also been in for Sancho. Liverpool have been in for Sancho. I think, he's ruled out a move to Chelsea, has Jadon Sancho. But I think one of the main explanations why Jadon Sancho wants to come at Man United is reflecting on his friendship he has got with Marcus Rashford, because he's got a very, very good friendship with him, and Marcus Rashford did reveal that he wants Jadon Sancho at Manchester United next season, because I think Jadon Sancho will go well alongside Rashford and Martial and that in our attacking line. So let's just put that into the equation. But what recent reports have said are actually reiterating what was mentioned a couple of weeks ago, because a couple of weeks ago the Irish Independent said that it's unofficially confirmed that Sancho will complete a transfer to Manchester United when the transfer window reopens. But no announcement has been made as yet. But we sign him, he's going to be our most expensive signing. Because our most expensive signing at the moment is Paul Pogba, who we paid £89 million for. But yeah, I think Sancho's definitely leaving Dortmund, and we have been in contact with Jadon Sancho's agent for around 2 months now. Like Fabrizio Romano broke out quite a few weeks ago, and Jadon Sancho is predominantly a right winger, and don't forget we're in search for a right winger. Sancho's still got around 2 years remaining on his contract with Dortmund. He's under contract with them until 2022. Reports came out last week saying if we were to fail to qualify for the Champions League, then, Sancho would reject to move to Old Trafford. But, yeah. But, like I updated you on my last video that I did earlier on today, if we are to miss out on Jadon Sancho, then we will inquire, or we have inquired about the availability of Ferran Torres from Valencia. So we're basically, seeing him as a transfer alternative. We're seeing him as an alternative to Jadon Sancho, and like I said, Ferran Torres, would be a cheaper solution than Jadon Sancho. Ferran Torres has got a release clause of around £87 million in his contract with Valencia, and reports have emerged out today saying that Man United are willing to meet his £87 million release clause. It obviously says that Borussia Dortmund have been in for him, because they're seeing Ferran Torres as the adequate replacement for Jadon Sancho. Borussia Dortmund have reportedly put around a £35 million bid in for him. Maybe Valencia will not accept this because, maybe they want his £87 million release clause triggered. But according to the German press, Borussia Dortmund are reluctant to meet his £87 million release clause. Ferran Torres is predominantly a right winger, but I think you can also put him on the left wing. And don't forget, we haven't actually had a natural right winger since, we had Wilfried Zaha. Ferran Torres is only at the age of 20. Obviously up until this point, he's spent the entirety of his career with Valencia. He's been at Valencia since 2006. He was in their youth set up for a good 10-11 years. And I think he's been their senior squad now for a good, 3 years or something like that. Has become an integral part of their team. Has only got, I think, like a year now remaining on his contract. But yeah, he's been at Valencia now around 14 years in total. He's got some good physical attributes. I heard that he's good at holding up the play. His runs on and off the ball are supposed to be very, very good. He's supposed to be very, very effective in the air. So, would you like to see, Ferran Torres come to Manchester United? But I'm still very, very convinced that we can get Jadon Sancho on the board. I've obviously been keeping you up to date with what's been going on with Harry Kane on a regular basis. Now, there is actually no chance that Manchester United could sign Harry Kane when the transfer window does reopen. Don't forget, Tottenham have offered Harry Kane to Manchester United, and, Daniel Levy, the Tottenham chairman, he's agreed that Tottenham will let Harry Kane leave this summer, providing, that their £200 million asking price is met. So they want a world record fee of £200 million. I'm just very, very sceptical that Manchester United would pay £200 million for Harry Kane. Do you think he's worth £200 million? I've got to say, if we can get Harry Kane on the board, then probably, we should be title contenders going on into next season. Now, obviously, revert back to last month, Harry Kane had come out and he'd made an admission. And he did say, that he could decide to leave Tottenham. He could decide to leave Tottenham if, they fail to match his ambition. Now, Harry Kane has revealed his ambition, and his ambition is to win some silverware. And he's not experienced any of this at Tottenham as Harry Kane. And he's been at Tottenham for several years. He was in their youth academy for a good 4 or 5 years. And he's been in their senior squad since 2011. And Harry Kane has won 181 goals in all competitions and 136 goals in just under 200 Premier League appearances. So he's actually Tottenham's third highest goal scorer in their history is Harry Kane. But yeah, he does obviously remain unhappy at Tottenham. He does remain unhappy at Tottenham, but what I said last month, he did fuel a lot of speculation up, but he did say he will not stay at Tottenham for the sake of it. So Tottenham are only willing to sell him if they can get £200 million for him. And if we are willing to pay £200 million, that will make him the joint most expensive player in the world, because the most expensive player in the world is Neymar, who PSG paid £200 million for from Barcelona. Was it back in 2017 or 2018 and that? But I'm just very, very sceptical, that we'll pay £200 million for him. Tottenham have got financial worries, like I've mentioned before. Tottenham, don't forget, are still paying for their £1 billion stadium. I think they owe around 630 odd million on the stadium loan and around 83 million in transfer fees. So, basically they are looking to offload Harry Kane. Obviously, you've had the likes of Gary Neville, let's give his overarching view on it, and Gary Neville, believes it'd be a great signing for Man United. It could actually, be the next Robin Van Persie, because, we got Robin Van Persie from Arsenal back in 2012, and, you can say reflect on the goals he scored in Ferguson's last season, that he did actually win us the league, so he could be the next Robin Van Persie, could Harry Kane. You've obviously, had Danny Murphy, saying we should go all out to sign him. Roy Keane said early on this season Man United should sign Harry Kane. Harry Redknapp, has been talking a lot about it. He believes again, he'd be a great addition to, our team. So he's got the same perception as Neville and Danny Murphy and all of that. But, he's instructed Harry Kane to remain loyal to Tottenham. So maybe Kane, Kane may not leave in the summer. He may give it another year, to see how it plans out. And then if Tottenham don't win anything in terms of silverware, that's when he will leave. Now, I've got an element of concern about Kane as well, because he's injury prone. Let's put that into the equation. He has been out with a hamstring injury since January. Since New Year's Day, he has been out with this hamstring injury. And he's sustained a few injuries, during his career with Tottenham. Obviously, he's still got 4 years remaining on his contract with Tottenham. He's under contract with them until 2024, is Harry Kane. 4 years remaining on his contract. He signed a 6-year deal back in the summer of 2018, worth around £200,000 a week. But definitely, Harry Kane is Tottenham's best player. Tottenham have lost quite a few of their imperative players. Don't forget they lost Christian Eriksen back in January to Inter Milan. Christian Eriksen endured 7 years with Tottenham, long-serving player. They lost Danny Rose. He went out on loan to Newcastle. Obviously, Bale left Tottenham in 2013 after he endured 6 years with Tottenham. He went to Real Madrid for £85 million. Also, Real Madrid, got Luka Modric off them. So, yeah, they have lost quite a few of their imperative players. But like I said, Daniel Levy, he's a very, very hard negotiator, but he is a very, very good businessman. So, but Sky Sports actually, said yesterday which is a reliable source, Sky. They said that Tottenham have got no intentions of selling Harry Kane to, Manchester United or any other Premier League rival. But Kane is only at the age of 26, and we're basically seeing him as an adequate replacement for Romelu Lukaku. Now, but I think if Jadon Sancho could play a part in it, he could play a part in Kane coming to Man United, because if we can sign Jadon Sancho, that could actually, convince then Harry Kane to come to Manchester United. If we was to get Sancho and Harry Kane, that'd probably cost us around £320 million. That is a hell of a lot of money. Obviously, now I think our transfer budget has been revealed, and I think we are going to get given around £150 million to spend when the transfer window reopens. But obviously, we're planning on selling around 5 or 6 players this summer. So reflecting on that, our transfer budget will increase. But yeah, but there's been a few strikers on our agenda, and I'll reiterate what I mentioned on my recent videos. There's cheaper solutions than Harry Kane. You've got Timo Werner, that's available for £50 million, 4 times less. He'll cost 4 times less than Kane. You've got Haaland as well, Erling Haaland. How much is he available for? Around £60 million. I've just been reading recent reports on Erling Haaland, and it actually, said that his actual release clause doesn't activate until 2022, is it? Or something like that. But he's still a cheaper solution than Harry Kane, and it's a shame that we didn't get Haaland back in January, because like I said, he'd have been an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer type signing. Solskjaer's worked with him in the past. Solskjaer, give Haaland his debut 3 years ago at Mould. But there you go. So yeah, so these much cheaper solutions than Harry Kane and that. Obviously, with our links to like Harry Kane, Haaland and Timo Werner, is this delaying Manchester United getting Odion Ighalo on a permanent transfer? Now, it isn't fully assured that, we're actually, going to get Odion Ighalo on a permanent transfer. Because obviously, Odion Ighalo did recently reveal, Odion Ighalo, that he has not yet received an offer to extend his stay at Manchester United. Now, Solskjaer did make an admission saying, it's like that we're going to get him on a permanent transfer because, he's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career, and it's going to cost us around £15 million to get Odion Ighalo on a permanent transfer. So again, a cheap solution. But he's in his early 30s now, but if he'd have been about 4 or 5 years younger, then Odion Ighalo probably would have cost us quite a bit more than £15 million. Now, don't forget his parent club, Shanghai Shenhua, they came out the other week and, they'd offered him around £400,000 a week, plus a 2-year contract extension, to convince him to turn down a permanent move to Man United. So maybe we won't get him on a permanent transfer. But I think he's done really, really well, and I think, he's been a good cover up to Marcus Rashford as Odion Ighalo. So like I say, there's been so many players on our agenda, also Donny van de Beek from Ajax. He's been linked with Man United. I gave you the news yesterday, didn't I, on Dayat Upamecano from Leipzig. He's a centre-half on our agenda. Jude Bellingham is on our agenda. So yeah, like I said at the beginning of the video, there's around 14 players on our agenda and that. But so far, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's enjoyed 3 transfer windows at Manchester United. Didn't recommend anyone in his first transfer window, but in the 2 previous transfer windows, he has recruited 5 players in and spent around £220 million. Obviously, as well, taking into account, Solskjaer has got rid of a lot of players since he's come in. Obviously, I think a total of 9 players have left since he came in. Obviously, some have gone on permanent transfers and some have gone out on loan. So, obviously, the players that left, we saw Ashley Young leave this year after he enjoyed 8.5 years at Manchester United. We let him go to Inter Milan for, was it just over £1 million? We put Rojo out on loan to Estudiantes. I think we'll probably negotiate on getting rid of Marcus Rojo on a permanent transfer, to be quite honest with you. Smalling. There was reports last week, actually, saying that Chris Smalling could be coming back to Manchester United. I'm sceptical about it, but it actually says that Roma want to get Chris Smalling on a permanent transfer. But due to financial difficulties, they may not be able to do this. But got to say, Chris Smalling's done very, very well with Roma. But Smalling did enjoy 9 years at Manchester United, so he was a long-serving player. But we loaned him out. Obviously, we got rid of Darmian last summer. We saw Dean Henderson go out on loan. I think, Dean Henderson is expected to come back to Manchester United after his loan spell with Sheffield United. I don't know if he's going to become our number one goalkeeper. There was reports earlier on in the season saying that he could become our number one goalkeeper, Dean Henderson. We let Herrera go last summer. After he enjoyed 5 years at Manchester United. We let him go on a free transfer to PSG. We let Fellaini go. Fellaini enjoyed 6 years at Manchester United. He went to China back in January 2019. Obviously, we let Lukaku go last summer into Milan. And of course, we let Sanchez go out on loan to Inter Milan. Don't forget, I've recently, give you the news, haven't I, on Alexis Sanchez. And he did say that Sanchez is set to stay at Manchester United. And he's set to see out the remainder of his contract until 2022. Because it said the other week recently should I say, that Sanchez is refusing to take a pay cut. He's refusing to take a pay cut. And like I said, Sanchez at Man United, is obviously on 400 grand a week, potentially rising up to 500 grand a week with the bonuses and the image rights, and no team, can, or very little, or if any teams, can afford, to pay off his wages and that. But, I just think, we need to try and get rid of him on a permanent transfer. But despite the fact that Sanchez is on loan at Inter Milan, we're still paying, the vast majority of his wages. We're still paying around £300,000 a week. But I don't want Sanchez back because, Sanchez enjoyed a difficult 18 months at Manchester United. We got him as part of a swap deal of Mkhitaryan, going to Arsenal back in January 2018. I think there was a fee involved as well, wasn't there, if I remember rightly. But, I thought it'd been an exceptional signing, to take into account, he did really, really well in his 3.5-4 years with Arsenal. He played under Pep Guardiola's guidance when he was younger at Barcelona. Paul Merson recently gave his verdict on it. He believes we should give him a second chance, and he believes he can rediscover the form at Man United of what he produced at Arsenal and Barcelona. Solsjaker said back in January, Sanchez will be coming back to prove everybody wrong. So he has got rid of a lot of the deadwood, to be fair, since he's coming. But I think the players that are going, I think Jones is on his way out of the football club. I think Lingard's on his way out of the football club. Andres Pereira's on his way out of the football club because, they are two liabilities. Like I said, I think Smalling will go permanently. Rojo will go permanently. At one point, I thought Fosu-Mensah would have been going, but obviously, recently we triggered that 1 year extension on his contract. So yeah, definitely, players are going to be going. But like I said, Solskjaer does deserve more time at Manchester United. He has been at Man United now for nearly 16 months. So he has been at the football club over the year. I did say, didn't I, at the start of this season, our expectations would have been to finish in that top four so we can get Champions League qualification wrapped up for next season. I think, we can get qualification for the Champions League anyway. Obviously this season we didn't expect to win the title or, mount any kind of title challenge up, reflecting on the signings, that we made. Because, we are around 3 signings away, from being title contenders. So I think, next season we should enjoy a better season, than what we've enjoyed this season. Because this season we've enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season ever. But, we can still get some silverware on the board this season. We can win the FA Cup because we're into the quarterfinals. We can win the Europa League because we are into the last 8. We are the second most successful team in the FA Cup because we've won 12. We won behind Arsenal. We won the Europa League back in 2017 under the Jose Mourinho era, so we can do the same thing again. We're sitting 5th in the Premier League at the moment, and we are 3 points behind Chelsea. But I just think, we need to be patient with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I think, Solskjaer, needs to probably follow Alex Ferguson's method of building the next great Manchester United team. But you can see what Solskjaer is trying to implement at the football club. You know, you can see what he's trying to implement. But I know I've been very, very critical of Solskjaer this season. So too with a lot of Manchester United fans and that. Because, you know, for the vast majority of this season, Solskjaer hasn't really had a plan A. He hasn't really had a plan B. You know, he hasn't really had a plan B. His approach to a lot of games, you know, haven't, you know, been good enough. To be honest with you, though, I think in the big games, he's done really, really well. His approach to the big games has been absolutely fantastic, but against lower opposition, you know, it hasn't been so good. I still don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows his best formation yet, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, there's still when the football season resumes on the 6th of June, Solskjaer, I know, will be still under pressure to keep this good run of form up, because we was in a good run of form before the football season got suspended. You know, don't forget, we are unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions. And, you know, Solskjaer's promoted the youth very, very well, because, you know, the young players have been given their opportunities this season, and, you know, that's also a positive. You know, and like I said on my first video that I did today, I went through with you, you know, the players that I think have got long-term futures at Manchester United. But I expect the likes of Greenwood to get more opportunities next season in the league. James Garner should get more opportunities next season. So too should Angel Gomez. You know, that's providing, you know, we do get him a new contract at the club. Chong should get more opportunities in that. So yeah, you know, we have got a lot of young players in the squad. You know, which is a positive. And, you know, like I said, I don't think Solskjaer will replicate Alex Ferguson's legacy. You know, I don't think any manager, you know, will replicate Ferguson's legacy at the football club. You know, because Ferguson is one of the greatest managers of all time. But, you know, take into account, Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club when we recommended him in. And, you know, he was one game away from getting the sack, but he didn't. And then look what he went and, you know, accomplished after that. You know, we won the vast majority of our silverware under the Alex Ferguson era and that. You know, we have been playing catch up for the last 6 or 7 years since Ferguson retired. You know, we've had different managers with different philosophies. You know, we had Moyes, we had Van Gaal, we had Jose Mourinho, and a hell of a lot of money's been invested into the football club. We spent nearly in the £1 billion range on recruiting players in, and we recruited over 30 odd players in since the Alex Ferguson era. But even though we've been playing catch up for the last 6 or 7 years, we're still one of the biggest clubs in the world, like I mentioned. We are the most successful team in England because we won the most titles. And, you know, we have made quite a lot of mistakes in the last 6 or 7 years as well. So that's probably, you know, not the only, but one of the main explanations why we have been so inconsistent. You know, there's been problems with Ed Woodward this season as well. You know, there's been problems with the club's ownership. There's been various issues this season. But we've just got to bide our time with Solskjaer. That's all Manchester United do need to do. But yeah, so anyway guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.